We advise the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Cunanan. Now, in this show, we talk about everything under the sun, and tonight's topic is about arts. You know, folks, tonight is a very special evening because we're kicking off on GNN for the first time on Philippine TV. We are actually kicking off the UNESCO's International Arts Education Week, which is starting tomorrow in different locations all around the world. And tonight we're going to meet some very interesting personalities who have been at the forefront of arts education for many decades, for many years. And we're going to talk about how art, more than being just a mere flight of fancy and hobby for many, can actually be a potent force for social change and transformation. And joining us on the set here in GNN on Philippines Uncut is none other than Ms. Cecil Guidote Alvarez. Good evening, Ms. Alvarez, and welcome to Philippines Uncut.
And to your fans.
No, it's an honor to have you here, because especially for a topic like this, because when it comes to arts and arts education, if you have the credentials that you have over the years and your dedication to this field is admirable. But please tell the viewers about yourself.
About myself?
Yes, I mean, for those who don't know yet who, and there aren't many who don't know about Ms. Alvarez, but for those who don't know, tell us a bit, who is Cecil Guidote Alvarez?
Well, I've been in the arts for more than 50 years, and so you can see the white hair. We founded PETA, which is the Philippine Educational Theater Association, and we also worked in exile out of La Mama Theater, which pioneered the off-Broadway movement, and worked with ethnic cultural minorities. So you have Filipina, Mexican now, who we're all cheering for the American Idol.
Jessica Sanchez.
Ethnic cultural minorities were our concern. And then, of course, now under a restored democracy, we're pushing for really accessing arts education to vulnerable groups, which we call cultural caregiving. Yes. So we try to give this very meaningful experience to differently abled people under difficult circumstances, in trauma, whether they're in prison or refugees of armed conflict or economic and ecological disasters,
yes.
Sick people in the hospitals. I mean, arts has such a healing power as well. And it's dynamic possibility for therapy, for addressing confusion, crisis, is really very, as you use the word potent, no? It's a dynamic force. Yes. And for values education, it's also very important, because that's what the International Arts Education Week is going to do, make a difference in harnessing or like calling to arms artists, people in media, people in social action who are artists, to be like a creative army, to fuse in their diverse expressions and disciplines this desire to help confront a survival issue, climate change, disaster risk reduction.
And this is really the objective of the UNESCO International Arts Education Week.
Yes.
But how did this happen? How did this, I mean, this is the first International Arts Education Week. How did this come about?
We're elated because it's like a dream come true. It's, it has come to pass. Actually, we've been working on this area of work, and luckily UNESCO has recognized us as UNESCO Artists for Peace, and then recently as UNESCO Dream Center. And so we were invited in the first World Arts Education Conference that was sponsored by UNESCO, hosted by the government of Portugal, to demonstrate a process of special arts education. And we brought in our team of Art Savers Ensemble. We had our artist teacher, like Frank Rivera, joining us. And what happened is they made an impact. And in the process, we advocated for a World Arts Education Week. That was 2006. Of course, you know how the process is in the international community as well as in any bureaucracy, nationally or what. It's a slow process. And you have to nag, to persevere, to demonstrate its viability. And the second World Arts Education Conference was held in Seoul, which is nearby in Korea. And there, together with then NCCA Chairman Dr. Vilma Labrador, who was in DepEd, we joined the ministerial meeting, because I was then also in NCCA, and I UNESCO Commissioner. And we pushed, I spoke again, reiterated the value of an Arts Education Consciousness Week that can sustain memory, attention, action, in between 4 years. You know, it's a quadriennale conference. So it was adopted. The plenary applauded it. The Korean government accepted it as part of a resolution on a complement to the Seoul Agenda of Arts Education Development.
And from that nucleus of activity...
This was declared now. First, because it was only approved at the UNESCO General Conference last year. So it was declared as the last week of May. Because May is very important also to UNESCO. May 21, tomorrow, is Cultural Diversity Day. And then May 22 is Biological Diversity Day. So we are fusing them, synergizing these two seemingly different concerns into one concept, biocultural diversity protection.
That is a big, all-encompassing
and that's,
statement.
We feel that is the key to sustainable development. You cannot just worry about, of course, our ecosystems, but the whole room of heritage and traditions, and using the expertise of our artists. And you know how great our artists are. Anywhere in the world, they're second to none.
How do you fuse all of that into a common goal? When you talk about heritage, these are big words, and
we're interdisciplinary,
and,
multilingual.
Multilingual, multiracial, how do you now fuse this into one common message or one common position?
Well, later on we'll give you an example, but the thing to do is like multitasking, you know, and the idea that UNESCO itself has changed, and it says we're cross-disciplinary. Even if we're communications, education, culture, and science, we've got to merge them together. You can't, you know, you can't separate, you've got to synthesize. And that's what we're doing. And you can see that the content, for instance, we have performances which says agony, death, and resurrection of the forest and the seas. You have the lament of the ocean. We have a rap song on garbage recycling and composting, so it's possible. And we use soap opera in Balintatao.
So basically to use the arts and fuse it with pop culture and different cultural forms and to reach leaders, to reach the masses.
Right, and history, heritage-based, meaning to say you're grounded, you're able to provide a mirror for your identity as a nation. You're able to give a sense of appreciation for your patrimony, for your wealth of heritage, our habitat, the beautiful environment that we mustn't destroy.
I guess when people are more aware of this and they treasure what they have, then they will actually care for the environment, care for each other, care for society.
We are wealthy. We have all of these natural resources. We have all this wealth of talent, human resources.
Yes.
And what we were showing, that's why it was recognized by UNESCO, is that we could show that what we consider as damaged human resources can be transformed, can be recycled into responsible citizens.
Members of society.
Yes, physically challenged, mentally challenged, people in difficult circumstances, suicidal people. You'll be amazed how if you deal sensitively, relevantly, and have a compassion and a caring, that's why we call it cultural caregiving. That's the whole root. You don't just perform or you don't just do workshops for ego. Oh, it's nice, somebody's going to clap for me, etc. But you're
it's for the
caring.
Good, it's for the good of society.
You're like a classroom.
Yes. Now, Ms. Alvarez, this UNESCO Arts Education Week seems like a very big affair. Tell us about the mechanics. Like, is it going to happen in one place? Is it going to be centered in one country? What is the biggest highlight?
Just like in any day, but this is a week, because it's a UNESCO-approved resolution, countries with UNESCO commissions are bound to execute it. And however, the inaugural event will be in Paris on the 23rd, where the event will have an inaugural there. But we're kicking off with a very important, we call it tricontinental dialogue among artists, and that is by connectivity. You'll be amazed we can connect with artists in Colombia, in Kenya, in UAE, in Paris.
In real time.
In real time, and we're going to be, in a sense, co-moderated out of Jakarta, because that is the UNESCO Bureau Chief Office for Asia Pacific, Dr. Hubert Gishen. But this is all with the blessing of the first woman Director General of UNESCO's presiding, and that is Dr. Irina Bokova.
So this tricontinental virtual link, when will this happen?
This will happen on the 22nd in Manila, but it's 21 in Colombia. It's in different countries where we're connecting. It's actually starting in different time zones, 21 to 22nd. Cultural Diversity Day and Biodiversity Day, in a sense, synergized as one.
So in all these places, UNESCO will have different activities featuring...
or culture, or the ITI, because I think you've met the Director General of ITI, Buddy. It has a membership of 100 nations. So the community of artists will be doing their own thing. Even here in the Philippines, we've gathered, you see, DepEd is involved, Brother Armin's office, CHED, Chairman Tati Liquanan, TESDA, where also NCCA, some of their activities are converged in a calendar of events that will be presented to Paris as a Philippine panorama of artistic educational activities. So we're highlighting a process. We are connecting to the other continents and working out cooperative programs.
Yes. Yes. Now, by linking these, artists united from three different continents, by linking them, what do you hope to achieve?
Because the artists can touch conscience and really broaden mindsets or shift mindsets. And the artist, as I say, is the creative army for defense. No bombs, no guns, It's really heart.
And when something appeals to the heart, then
you act.
The capacity to change,
yeah,
your potential is really there.
Right, you're motivated to do something, and that's what's important. We have to act. Like this issue on climate change, if we don't act now, we can't wait for Godot. It can't be postponed, because you can see we're being overwhelmed with all of these disasters. It's a question of human survival.
Now, earlier you mentioned a group, the Earth Savers.
Yeah, they were recognized as UNESCO Dream Center.
Who are the Earth Savers, and what is the composition of this group?
Well, it's really involving us performers, differently abled children.
Physically challenged?
Yeah, physically challenged, economically handicapped, in a sense, because we merge them with street children, out of school youth, as well as indigenous youth. We want to be inclusive and to show that you can integrate, you can harmonize, no divisions, but a sense of belonging, you know. So we have blind children, crippled, armless, mentally challenged.
They've performed all over the world under your tutelage.
They've been in the UN. They've been actually, we're doing this as a prelude to Rio +20.
Yes.
And you'll be amazed. They were in Rio, but these are new ones now, but the old ones already.
And I understand that there are 3 Earth Savers with you today, and they will give us a special number to close our first segment. And here they come now. Can you tell us a bit about their background?
Well, you must understand that they're all blind, but you'll see their confidence and capability.
What are they going to sing?
That's what's going to interest you, hopefully. You've been singing when you were a kid, Magtanim ay di biro.
Sure.
They're shifting that.
Yes.
And also they're saying, you know, it's the UN Year for Cooperatives and Sustainable Energy. So they'll say that ang tingting na walis pag nag-iisa bali wala, pero pag pinagbuklod mo, that's when the force comes.
Okay, so let's hear them.
So there's Malin, there's Maricor, and there's Camille.
Okay, girls,
Okay.
take it away.
Kung tayo'y magtatanim, dadami ang pagkain, giginhawa ang buhay, yayaman pa itong bayan. Magtanim, magtanim, meron kang aanihin. Magtanim, magtanim, meron kang isasaing. Sa kubo ka matulog, katawan mo'y lulusog. Sa bukid manirahan, kay linis ng amihan. Ang sabi ng Diyos natin ay dapat nating sundin. Ang lahat ng kakanin sa pawis manggagaling. Halina magsikap upang umunlad, sa bayan maglingkod ng tapat. Pag nagsikap tayo'y unlad, para sa araw ng bukas, para sa araw ng bukas. Tayong Pilipino kung magsasama-sama, lahat nating naisin, abot kaya na. Kung sama-sama ay kayang-kaya, kung sama-sama ay kayang-kaya. Alinmang kalsada ay di malilinis kung nag-iisa ang tingting ng walis, walis.
Okay.
Very well done. So guys, don't go away, because in the second segment we'll talk more about UNESCO's International Arts Education Week. Stay tuned.